gentlemen, the following presentation is brought to you by Mr. Main Event Brian Waters and the real Dwayne Alley. The Wrestling Realm, the show for the intelligent wrestling fans. Off the top rope, I dwell in the wrestling realm. Like Jake stay in the snake pit and Kane be in hell. Like Jake to stay in the graveyard, I'm punk in the shy. Call me Snooker cause I'm super and fly. You can hate all you want, but I'm flossing. The Miz said I'm awesome, and I'm upholding the law just like the big boss man. With Mr. Main Event Brian Waters, the real Dwayne Allen. Toss you over the border like Hernandez, Mandez, pressing the stands. It's the show for the intelligent wrestling fans. Hitman like Hawk, but I'm not from Calgary. I'm all about the bill, so let that gold dust shower me, empower me like Farouk and the nation. If you don't know your history, then you should change the station. But if you do, you can cruise to YouTube / the wrestling realm. Your lessons are stale. Say the same old lines, man, you destined to fail. Like the Shockmaster or the wrestler Nails. I'm a heartbreak kid, and my bid to be champion is unmatched. Anybody step, I'm face planting them. With Mr. Main Event and the real Dwayne, you the sisters of love, we the powers of pain. You see we coming with a spear while you're monkey flipping. It's Brian Waters, Dwayne Allen, and your boy Trenton. And that's just how the story goes. That's just how the story goes. It's the wrestling realm, baby. The wrestling realm. Mr. Main Event Brian Waters, the real Dwayne Allen. And I'm your boy Trent CMG. You know what it is, baby. Let's go.
Look at this list, and you brought up guys that were only IC champions. You know, you look at right now Cody Rhodes, Goldust, Steamboat, Greg the Hammer Valentine, Tino Santana, Jeff Jarrett, Rick Rude, Pedro. Oh no, Pedro, was he WWE champion? I believe. I'd be getting confused when it gets to the old one. Honky Tonk Man.
Well, I don't know about Jeff Jarrett. He had a couple of WCW title runs and a couple of NWA joints.
Well, we'll talk about the E, as they like to call it.
The E.
Mr. Perfect, Pat Patterson. You look at those guys.
Right.
You know, I think, obviously, out of all of them, that placement is correct. I definitely would have Mr. Perfect as the guy. Oh, I said Razor Ramon. Mr. Perfect as one of the best guys to never go as WWE champion. You know, may rest in peace. That's one conversation I would love to have with him. Is like, you know, I heard there was talks about putting the strap on him, but you know, obviously Hogan was making money
and making threats too.
Oh yeah.
You know, he threatened about it's a little side note about Sergeant Slaughter. How he wanted to wrestle. He said if for WrestleMania, he's like, yeah, I want to wrestle Sergeant Slaughter, or I quit.
Oh yeah.
He would make demands like that.
Yeah. Well,
and that's how he did business.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's like Michael Jordan. You know, man, what you do. But then,
what can you say?
Yeah, you know, unless Savage had did that, all hell would have broke loose.
Right.
But you know, which I mean, just looking at it though, look at these guys who never became WWE champion.
Right.
You know, like I said, obviously to me, Perfect is the best one. I'm gonna go into who I wouldn't have seen becoming WWE champion. I wouldn't have seen Honky Tonk Man as the WWE champion.
Absolutely not.
Even in this day and age.
Absolutely not.
You know, he was over as an Intercontinental champion. You hated him. You hated his guts. He would always cheat. But
too much of a gimmick to me.
Right. You know. Goldust, no. Cody Rhodes, yes. I see him as champion. Yeah. Steamboat, eventually, if he would have stuck around.
I mean, yeah, because it's not like he wasn't. I mean, he won the world title in WCW. It's not like he wasn't championship caliber. You know, he just didn't really get a
right.
I don't know if it's a fair shot or what you call it back then, those days, or whatever. You know what I mean? But how about Rick Rude?
Definitely. You know, definitely he could have been the opportune time. If wrestling was today, if I'm gonna talk about the pay-per-view schedule. because obviously that's when the titles changed.
Right.
If the pay-per-view schedule was today, like it was, Rude would have probably won the title right around the SummerSlam-ish, right around the summertime. You know, I thought that, you know, he was going to be Ultimate Warrior. I remember that ladder match and being, cage match and being happy because he didn't.
Right.
You know, Jeff Jarrett, no. Well, he was hated. He was definitely hated as a heel.
I didn't take him seriously.
You didn't?
Not as a world champion. Not in his later IC title reigns. I always looked at him like he was good enough for an IC title in the WWF, but he was good enough to be WCW world champion. And I think that said a lot about WCW's
right.
Product at the time.
Let me ask you this though. As we transition, would you put China on this list?
No, absolutely not. No, this is top 25, not
history making.
Yeah, you know, the Women's History Month. Absolutely, throw on something because what she did was remarkable. But at the same time, a lot of people feel it downplayed the importance of the title because, like, dog, you really put it on a woman, and it was like, you know, it's just not like she was like wasn't like she was Kelly or nobody. No offense, Kelly. But I mean, I think like a guy like Jericho was sort of insulted by it. Because, like I said, when you saw the likes of those who had the title, and then for it to be here or China, because she was really over at the time. You know what I mean? She's one of the most over stars, in my opinion, in WWE history until she fell apart. But, no, I'm not putting China on this list. Would you?
No. You know, but I know how I think, and I know how you think, so I wanted to ask.
Well, let me ask you this. Let's transition from this list. How about the guys that careers were catapulted after being IC champions? Guys like the Stone Colds, guys like the Rock, and Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Randy Orton, and you know in particular Bret Hart, the Chris Jerichos. How do you feel about those guys? And I guess even Savage to a degree, because I felt like he was one way. It didn't matter what he did; he was always gonna be. You know what I mean?
Right.
So how do you feel about those guys? And what was it about their IC title runs versus the other guys who? That was as good as it was going to get, but they're still on this list.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you're a great IC champion, but for other guys, they were great IC champions, and it also launched them further into their careers. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree, and I think you named all the right ones, you know. Rock. You said Rock, Triple H?
Yeah, Rock, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Bret Hart, Austin, you know, Chris Jericho, you know, guys like that. I
think...
And especially Randy Orton.
Bret and Shawn really benefited, probably started that way. You know,
absolutely. You
said it best with Savage. Savage was going to be champion no matter what. I would even go as far as to say Ultimate Warrior was going to be champion no matter what.
Right.
But Bret and Shawn, it was kind of like a proving ground.
Right.
They said, all right, look, all right, I saw you was great Intercontinental Champion. Now we can go ahead and trust you with the strap. You know, you being faithful, you being dedicated, and you're getting over. Cody Rhodes said Shawn Michaels told him getting over is a 24-hour day, 7 days a week job.
Right.
You know, so something you got to put into. That's why he said he even takes his ring gear seriously. Right. He puts on. So I think those guys. Honestly, looking now in hindsight, the direction the Rock was going.
Right.
I think he was going to be champion no matter what.
Same thing. Yeah.
I think Stone Cold Steve Austin would have been champion no matter what. I don't think the belt surely helped them, and they definitely deserve to be on this list. But I think that they, you know,
whether they had it or not, they were still on their way.
Looking at Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley probably would have been WWE champion because of being Intercontinental champion. But the game would have been Intercontinental champion. I mean WWE champion no matter what. You know,
that makes sense.
Edge, definitely. You got to put him on that list as far as somebody who was going to be champion, who was being catapulted because of this list.
Right.
Even RVD, to an extent, you know, I mean, yeah, he was over, but he kind of had to prove himself in the WWE ground.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so, but yeah, definitely. He had to prove himself in the WWE ground. Jeff Hardy's another one.
Okay.
He was a tag team specialist.
Yeah.
He was a hardcore champion, but showing that he could do it as Intercontinental Champion.
Especially when he came back from TNA.
The only thing I was mad about that was when, remember, WWE used to have the SmackDown spoiler on WWE.com. And I remember I was in high school, and it was brought to my attention, Brandon Guy, shouts out to him, he's like, yeah, Jeff Hardy's going to win the title Thursday night. I was like, what? And I was like, I can't wait to see this one.
Right.
And, you know, sure enough, he won the belt. So.
Yeah. Okay, so looking at this list, there's maybe one current guy on the list right now that's still on the rise. A lot of these guys are sort of, you know, either in their prime or met their prime or are done. I'm referring to maybe Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
And maybe an RVD, semi-Jeff Jarrett. But look at a guy like Cody Rhodes, who's on this list. Current superstar. He's only on his second title reign. He had it for 236 days his first go-around, I believe. And then here he is. He's got a second run with the IC title. What do you see in Cody Rhodes that the WWE sees, from your perspective, in all these guys, enough to put him on this top 25 list? He hasn't even got started. He's 26, maybe, I think.
Yeah.
He hasn't even gotten started yet. And the fact that he's on this list already, what is it that they see in him that you can also say, well, what is it about this guy that, you know what, he's that good that we're going to put on this list and we're going to put this title back in? And I feel by him doing stuff like bringing back the original title with the white strap, he's making that title important again. Not only because of what he's saying and what he's doing, but what he's doing in the ring as well. Yeah. I was not a Cody fan at first because I didn't like the way he looked. I was not convinced about the way he talked, and I hated that whole I don't even know what was it called, the Glamorous or something. That gimmick where he was just
dashing.
Like, yeah, dashing Cody Rhodes. He came like that, and then I didn't like it even worse when he got he broke his face. He started with a face mask. He started talking like this. I'm like, bro, you killing me right now. But then all of a sudden that changes. He throws knee pads on. He's got a new look. I'm like, wait a minute. This, you know, you look at him differently because, like you said, it's a 24-hour job. You have to look at everything.
And it's funny because he did the knee pads also to annoy people like us. Yeah. And they was like, bro, I understand you trying to draw heat, but not putting knee pads on. Right. Does draw heat. But as in regards to your question, first I want to correct myself. Yeah, how could I forget? Pedro Morales was the first Triple Crown. Right. First one to hold all 3 titles. Hey, I'm human. I tend to forget some things sometimes. But
you got a PTI moment, you know, when the guy does all the corrections, like we'll be missed.
Right. You know, but Cody, well, let's think about this. Before he had that title, you really can't think of nobody that was really important with it. You know, we wanted Ezekiel Jackson to win the title from Wade Barrett because we wanted to see him get that opportunity. Right. You know, but then how bored were we with Power Slam after Power Slam after Power Slam? Yeah. It looked as if we was going to see a reunion with him and Ted DiBiase Jr. Only for him to, I think he turned on him.
Yeah, I think they were trying to draw some heat for Ted, and it didn't work.
Right, and how wrong was I? I thought he was going to be the guy.
I did too, but with that $1 million gimmick he had, I thought but it did not work at all.
It would have worked if he was back with wrestling with his father. Yeah. You know, naturally. But
maybe his dad was his manager or something.
Yeah, but you look at Cody then, and for him to get the title, and he made it important. You know, his way he walked with the belt, the way he held the belt, the promos he cut because he was Intercontinental Champion. Right. Wade Barrett was cool, but Wade Barrett was holding the title, it seemed as if because to kind of bring dominance, to show dominance in the core.
Right, yeah.
But then it was like,
it was almost like a Nation of Domination film. Right. Yeah. That was sort of obvious.
Yeah, so, but Cody was doing his own thing. Him changing the belt took him from here to here. Yeah. Because that showed he cared about the belt. And he mentioned he paid homage to all the forefathers who held the title. Right. So that right there also gave him points. And then the way he defended it, you know. And he was a fighting champion. I wanted to see some things with him and Justin Gabriel. But then let's look at who he worked with. He worked with Booker T. He worked with Big Show. You know, we thought we was going to see him and his brother work. He worked with a Randy Orton. Right. So all that is what helped put him over. And it would help him slide in on this list.
And I think having the title, facing those guys, made the title seem important too. Because you have a guy like, okay, he's treating the IC title as this is my title. This is the title I care about. I'm not holding this just to get I don't want this. I want to go to the world title. He really treated that title like it was the best thing in the world. Yeah. And you had guys like Big Show and Booker T who are future Hall of Famer and legends. These are main eventers. Treated that title the same way. I want to start at the IC title too. And I'm not opposed to having veterans wear that title because I think, especially former world champions, because I think it brings prestige to it. Yeah. Because it shows it's just as good as a world championship, and when they treat it that way, it helps. So you have a guy like Booker T working with a program with Cody. You got a guy like Big Show working the program with Cody, because no offense, who is he going to face is going to make him important.
Yeah.
He needs to get over, as I not just had the title and to be defended like a Kofi and CM Punk did when they had it. You know what I mean?
Ladies and gentlemen, the following presentation is brought to you by Mr. Main Event Brian Waters and the real Dwayne Alley.